Hi, this is Sarah Lingra of pianokeyfinders.com, and this is another one of the series, I'm at the piano, now what? And this one is all about the circle of fifths. Actually, this is an introduction to what I'm going to be doing with the circle of fifths. Before I started recording the videos that I'm about to post, or that I've already posted if you're watching the video, I went onto YouTube and I went down the circle of fifths rabbit hole, and I saw that there were hundreds, if not thousands, of videos that other people have done on the circle of fifths. And I was watching a bunch of them. They're kind of long, and not only are they're long, but they present so much information that it's a little bit overwhelming. And I'm looking at the circle of fifths not from the I need to know it because I'm playing complicated music, but I'm teaching it to students who are concerned that they're not going to get it ever, who get confused, who are worried that they are going to look stupid. Not that they do, but that's one of their worries, and that they get overwhelmed if they get too much information all at once. And so I was thinking, well, if I directed my students to some of these really great videos by brilliant musicians, I think that they would be completely intimidated and overwhelmed and not really know what to do with this, especially since these are, amateur musicians who are not going to music school, or they are not piano players who don't get a lot of music theory in the lessons that they have to learn their instrument. So I thought, well, what if I made this a practical series where you're not watching, you're actually playing, and breaking it into small chunks and creating a lot of tiny videos that you can get fairly easily, especially since the videos that I did to start out here are 30 to 35 seconds. So they're not completely overwhelming, and they're all under the same format. So I think you probably know what a circle is. When we talk about the circle of fifths, it's something that looks like a circle. But maybe the idea of a fifth is what's confusing, and maybe it's not confusing in certain keys, but it's confusing in others because they're not ones that you commonly play. And when you're creating the circle of fifths, you absolutely need to know all 12 keys, because that's how it's constructed. It's constructed with all 12 keys. So I created these scale cards. These are what I'm using in the video. You don't need the scale cards to do this. You can copy, because you'll see the keys when I play them. But I find that they're really helpful for a couple reasons. Number one, you can see that the whole and half step pattern is here. So there's a whole step here, whole step, half, whole. So when you're playing the unfamiliar keys, it really helps making sure that you're playing the right things. The other reason that was really helpful, especially when I was recording the videos, is that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the scale degrees are written inside of the notes. And when I was playing the ones that I don't play very often, I was really thankful because it helped me remember, as I'm trying to name the names, what scale degree I'm talking about. Now, all of the videos, they are simply videos to show you what each 5-note scale is, and a fifth, when we talk about the circle of fifths, is the 5th note of a major scale. So a major scale normally, and I have a major scale video that shows how to figure out all the major scales, because we need that for doing chords and other things. But for these videos, we're only doing the first 5 notes, and if we start on 1, we're going to end on the 5th. Which is how the circle of fifths is going to be constructed later on. So what I did for these videos, and they're all in the same format, is put the arrow on a key. I'm going to play the major scale, so I'll say C major. So I played ascending and descending. Then I'm going to give you the scale degrees, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then I'm going to give you the note names, C, D, E, F, G, F, E, D, C. Then I'm going to play this. Then I'm going to say these numbers, 2, 5, 1, 4. And then I'm going to give you the names, D, G, C, F. And then I'll repeat the name of the scale so that you remember where you are, C major. Okay, so all 5-note scales get their own little video, plus the enharmonics, namely if you have a C sharp, you also have a D flat. And I'm using English as the convention because I have never seen chords written with solfege. Doesn't mean that they don't exist, but we lived overseas in Europe and the Middle East, and I had students from all over the world, in Asia and in South America and Australia, and I have never seen Fa minor 7 flat 5 as a chord in anything. I've only seen an H instead of a B once, so if you're German speaking, great, but I've never seen an H minor 7 or an H diminished chord. I mean, I've seen the chord itself, but I've never seen it called, no, I've seen it called it once. It was a German score, but it's not very common. So I thought, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do it in American English, because American English is the standard that's used for chords, and it, as I said, it might exist as solfege, but I haven't seen it, and so I figured, why spend the time? So with all of these 5-note scale videos, what you need to do is get comfortable in playing and hearing 5-note scales, get a better understanding of the scale degree, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then certainly it's helpful to do the 2, 5, 1, 4 on all of those 5-note scales as well, and saying the note names as you're playing them. So it's not just the numbers, but it's the note names, because if you recognize D, G, C, F, and you see a D and a G in your music, that's going to give you a lot of information when we get on to the next level. These videos of all of the 5-note scales are literally 30 to 35 seconds, and I would get to know all 12 keys, because that's what you need for the Circle of Fifths. And when I build on it, I'm going to refer back to that if you don't understand it first. Anyway, this is Sarah Lingra with pianokeyfinders.com, and I'm at the Piano Now What videos series about demystifying the Circle of Fifths. Thanks.